it didn't really hit until like end of junior high, beginning of high school, where I was like really starting to enjoy making music. And the people were always there for me. Making music was always something beautiful for me. And it was a great way to just really get your emotions out there without having to even say anything. And it's something everyone can enjoy and everyone finds beautiful. And I think that's really amazing.
Charles, thank you so much for having me out here to take a closer look at the program. At Peachjar, we get to work with some really phenomenal community organizations nationally. Your program, the spirit of your program, the students that I got to meet here today really speak to the essence of what we're all about at Peachjar. Spreading the word, connecting community organizations, resources to students, parents, and guardians in every city that we can. This has been really phenomenal for me because it's just a very unique program. It's very special. I can tell that you're passionate about it, that the students are passionate about it. And I'd love to learn a little bit more just from you on what was the catalyst to this, because I know there's a backstory to why you started here with the Dickinson Enrichment Center, and where you've kind of been, where you've come from, where you're headed, and why it's so important to provide this level of access to music to your community.
The backstory is kind of a twofold story. Number one, my son's in band, and his freshman year, they wanted him to take music lessons. And music lessons are, kind of expensive when you talk $40, $50, $60 a week. That's a payment on something at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get music lessons for him. And so we kind of struggled with that for about a year or so. And there's a young lady in the Dickinson ISD marching band. Her name was Ziana Jones. And I didn't know her extremely well personally, but whenever I would take my son to practice, I'd always see Ziana out there. She's a section leader, clarinet section leader, and she's kind of all over the place. One of those people, just really energetic, and you could tell she loved what she was doing.
People are drawn to her.
Yeah,
her energy.
Her energy, and it'd be 100 degrees out there, and those kids are practicing, but you couldn't tell it watching her. And I was, I always used to say to myself, man, if I had her energy, good grief, I think I could do 5 jobs.
Yeah.
But Ziana lives in one of those neighborhoods where over time the infrastructure has been kind of lacking in that neighborhood. So there's a street here in Dickinson called Dickinson Avenue, and the speed limit's like 45 miles an hour. There are no sidewalks, no street lights. And it's basically a county-owned street, so I can't put all the onus on the city, but it's a county street. And she was walking home on Halloween a couple of years ago, and she was killed by a hit-and-run driver. And I knew I wanted to do something. It's one of those days you want to do something, you just have no clue what to do. And it was just impressed upon my heart that there has to be other kids in that neighborhood that would love that. I'd love to see have her passion and joy for music. So we kind of started this program in her honor and in her name. So this program is based on her love for music and passing that love for music on to younger kids.
So through music, I've met a lot of people, one being my friend Ziana Jones, which is why we started this whole thing. Fortunately, she was killed in an accident, and she just really inspired me a lot to push myself to be a better person mentally and just be a kinder person, really bright like her. Ziana, she was my clarinet section leader for the marching band my freshman year. She was just so bright, so intelligent. I mean, every time, no matter what happened, she had a smile on her face. And it was just like people radiated to that, A lot of people loved it. It just rubbed off on people a really good way, and it rubbed off on me. It had a huge impact on me. And Mr. Charles, he was like, oh, like this girl was amazing. We need to honor her in some way. So Mr. Charles decided to start this in honor of her.
When you started this, how many students did you start with?
Our very first year, which was last year, we started with 13 students.
Okay.
And through attrition and movement and stuff like that, we ended the year with I think 9 or 10 kids, and our second year, which is this year, now we have 35 kids.
That's awesome.
So we grew. I know. And I use the percentage because it's really impressive. It's like 230% increase.
It's big, yeah. I mean, in a city this size,
in a small city this size.
We're not talking Los Angeles here.
No. Yeah, no, or Houston.
Or Houston.
Houston's just north of us. And I've yet to find anybody in Texas that's offering free music lessons for kids, let alone underserved kids that can't afford it. So, we do this, and we do it, for those kids, and we do it also to put our little town on the map. And people could say, man, they really doing something right in Dickinson. They have free music lessons for kids. No one else is doing it.
So when I first heard about this program, one of my upperclassmen from high school, actually, she was the previous teacher here at the Dickinson Enrichment Program, and whenever she was graduating, she needed someone to take her spot, and so I was one of the people she called up, and I thought it was it was so amazing to me, seeing that these kids are able to do something who most of the kids that we teach are underprivileged, and learning an instrument is expensive. And so we give them instruments for free, we give them music lessons for free, and it's really something that I can tell it's all the kids is almost, in a sense, like therapy, I feel like. And they can really express themselves in something that they probably wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to do before. And I think that's really a beautiful thing, to be able to provide such a beautiful thing for people who may not always get the opportunity to. And I think that's really important.
Well, that's one of the things that spoke to our heart at Peachjar, is that you are doing it and you are providing a service that's invaluable. As a musician myself, I mean, it's really incredible what these students have access to. And to do that at no charge to them is just an incredible thing. For the sacrifice that your team's making to get it done, the students that show up to teach this are getting it done, and for the students that show up for the lessons. So all around, it's just an incredible effort, and I know it takes a lot. Can you tell me a little bit about how you're providing the instruction? So I know it's not you particularly teaching lessons, right? So how are the lessons being? How did you crack that nut?
That was one of the first hurdles, along with a location that I ran into. And adults, I took the typical route. We're going to find some adults come in and volunteer to teach these kids, but folks, and I don't blame them. They just don't have the time to do it. And my fiance was like, well, a lot of those kids have been playing in bands since they were 9.
Yeah.
And we talked about it. I said, baby, you're right, because in this country, if you do something for 6, 7, 8 years, you're kind of a journeyman at that. You're not an expert, but you know enough to teach someone that doesn't know anything. So we went about the process of recruiting some junior and high school seniors at the local high school to be coaches and mentors for the younger kids. And the ISD doesn't start till 6th grade. Okay. We start at 4th grade.
That's awesome.
So our kids who start with us in the 4th grade, man, they have a huge head start on those other kids. And we have a couple of kids right now that are, 1st and 2nd chair. And I think we have one that's 3rd chair, and he really should be 1st chair.
That's really awesome.
Music has really shaped my life on keeping me on the right track. And it's really pushed me forward in a way where I can do everything I want to do while still having fun, because music is fun for me, and that's what I plan to do for the rest of my life, is play music and go to college to learn music and just play music.
I think music is for everyone, even outside of band. Like, it's not just band music. There's like the marching band, school band music, and then there's like music that other bands create, like there's rock, country. You walk down the street and you hear music. You get in the car, you hear music. Everyone hears music all the time. I couldn't think of one person I know that couldn't name a song from a band or something. I feel like everyone listens to it. Me and my friends especially, we're always like, oh, I love this band, we should go to see this concert. And me, myself, I go to lots of concerts, and it's great to see the people there, and it brings so many people together from so many different backgrounds. And so I really do think it's for everyone.
What it means for me to be part of this program and for future generations, like, these kids come from very similar backgrounds as me. Like low-income kids who just don't have the resources to get better in music and get into music. So it's like I'm giving them the opportunity that I wish I had when I was younger. And like, I know money is hard with families, especially around the Dickinson community. And it's like, you know, having something like this is just awesome. And it's just keeping kids off of, you know, causing trouble too.
After high school, I'm going to major in music education actually, which is because I've always wanted to be a teacher, but it wasn't until like my sophomore year that I really wanted to teach music itself, because I saw my band directors, they seemed to really enjoy it, and I took music theory, and that like made my love for it just grow like exponentially. And so I'm wanting to probably teach at like a high school level because I like marching bands a lot.
So Dickinson is a fairly small town. It's not crazy big, but it's also not really, really small. And with the enrichment center that I work at, the Dickinson Enrichment Center, it's very nice to connect with the local kids in the area and be able to just teach them what I know and let them experience the joy I have through playing the drums and doing everything I do on a day-to-day basis.
Music has shaped my life, I think, by really just making me a better person, really. I think it put lots of knowledge into my brain. I learned so much, and like I'm doing now, I'm teaching these kids so much, and I feel like that's really a beautiful thing. So I really think that it shifted my focus and put me just in a better place, rather than who knows what I'd be doing if I wasn't doing all this time with the music. And moving forward, I'm definitely continuing to play saxophone. That's one of my favorite things, and I never want to stop doing it, so I hope to do it the rest of my life.
When I play, I feel like I'm expressing my voice in a different way. Like it feels almost more natural to me than talking does, which is like crazy to say because I've been talking since I was 3 years old before that, and I've been playing the flute since I was 12. So it's just really cool. Like it opens up a different part of my brain that I haven't had access to beforehand.
How do you get the word out about your program?
Mostly through Peachjar.
Okay.
Because you guys have inroads and access to all the parents in our district, and you don't charge nonprofits anything. All I have to do is come up with a flyer, and you guys will even proof that for me to make sure I don't screw it up too bad. And then you guys distribute that thing to all the parents in the district, and that has by far been the biggest catalyst for us getting students.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I mean, we definitely have a vested interest in helping. I mean, we could call this a small business, but but local, nonprofits like yourself, small businesses like yourself, just community organizations and even national organizations. We have a very vested interest in helping them scale and grow, because the more students that have access to your program and resources, the better off they're going to do. And we know that kids that are plugged in before and after school and enrichment opportunities do better in school. The local school district sees higher attendance rates, better graduation rates, lower suicide ideation, better mental health. Students that have access to the community resources that they live in will thrive and do better ultimately the rest of their lives. So we have a vested interest in that. You do offer music lessons for free, so that is a caveat. That is an arm of Peachjar where we do these community-free, pieces where if somebody's stepping in and doing really great work in the community and offering services for free, where there's truly no financial obligation or expected obligation, we pick up, the cost of making sure that those flyers go out to families and parents and guardians in the community, which is amazing. I really appreciate that. And I just really appreciated getting to know the students here and seeing their passion for teaching, getting to talk to them, getting to hang out. It's been a lot of fun just to be with some other musicians like myself and just talk music and the love, to see the passion in their eyes. And for me, and I don't know if you've gotten to really talk to them about this too much, Charles, but for me to see how important it is for them to give back.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've invested a lot of energy into that, but you've provided an avenue now, unintentionally probably, for students that had no idea that this was something they wanted to do, to take their love and their passion and give it to another human. That's pretty incredible.
And that's part of what, like I said, it's been an unintended consequence of all this, is that a couple of those kids, Kirsten for one, they want to become music educators. Yeah. And to me, that's just absolutely awesome that they want to go out and get their degree and have a good time and come back and provide a service here in the community as music educators. To me, that's just that's the best thing in the world.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Well, I actually look forward to tracking this and staying in touch with you and seeing where these students take this and the next steps of their lives. We're really looking forward to it at Peachjar, and for us, just from the bottom of our hearts, thank you very much for the service that you're providing and for what you're doing out here in the community at large and giving back in the way that you are, because it is incredibly amazing.
Thank you so much.